brother. I'm
My
so
brother.
glad to see you. You look so good. Honest to God, this is
Me? This
probably
guy? I don't know.
this
Who you
is
talking?
probably this is probably the best
Oh,
I've ever seen you, period.
oh, thanks,
In
man.
decades, man. You look good.
I
It
feel
looks like
good.
you're in a good place these days, man.
Yeah, well, since we last spoke, I really leaned into just taking care of mental health, and then that led to taking care of physical health. And then I went on, like we were just talking about earlier before the show, trying to keep myself physically the best shape I can. I don't have to be, competing in a bodybuilding thing or a sports, you know what I mean? I just want to
Yeah.
feel good. I want my body to last a long time. I want to be around, I want to be, like Mick Jagger up there at 81, svelte, and shaking my ass and entertaining people.
Well, look, man, you are going to shake your ass and entertain people because, which is what I'm so happy about. This brother who I know is coming to the El Mocambo, man. You're coming to
Right there.
Toronto and you're performing for us one more time. But it is you, my friend. It is JD Fortune that is the star. How does it feel coming back home? And how does it feel playing at the iconic El Mocambo, man?
I love it. It's so exciting. Rudy, I got to tell you, man. And, I did my first headline tour last year, national tour across Australia, getting to play that incredible music. And this, for me, playing in Toronto, it's around the 20th anniversary, the 20th year where I think in 2006, we got an award for Much More Music for one of the longest running videos of the year, which was Afterglow. So I'm kind of, it's more of a sentimental show for me because I want to record with my band, a live version of Afterglow and dedicate it to that and record at the Elma Combo. And like I said, it's really an honor to still be playing INXS music and to actually have DNA in the band. I had lunch with Kirk last year in Down Under. And he said to my face when we were at lunch with his wife, he said, "You have DNA in this band. You'll always be a band member. That's it. No one can argue with that because I put in the time. I co-wrote the band's last original album with them. I'm lucky enough to be involved in that with all those creative guys. And to me, that was, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me with INXS. But the music is the bonus because, like, you know, I swear I don't know what it is, man, but I put on INXS all the time. I love it. I mean, I listen to a lot of music, but like still when you have grown up on a song or a piece of music and it hits you and you hear it again, it's like a time machine. It just takes you right back to I'm 12 years old all of a sudden again. I'm at a bush party in Nova Scotia and I'm listening to The Devil Inside, and it's like trying to sneak out of the house at 9 o'clock so your parents wouldn't, catch you, and we all meet up in the bush. And there's, one guy has a car with a portable stereo, and you're cranking it, and you think you're having the greatest time of your life, but you're just, kids out in the woods basically. But that journey from that being that boy in the woods of Salt Springs, West River Station, Nova Scotia, to touring some of the biggest stages in the world with INXS and being a part of that band was I couldn't have asked for a better life, man. I gotta be honest, and I'm so very happy with where I am right now.
So what are we going to hear at this show, man, at the El Mocambo? What's it going to be like?
Oh, we got all the classics. I dug deep. We got a couple deep cuts in there. Some I'm doing most. So like I'm doing four original songs that I wrote with INXS in the set. So which is kind of cool. I mean, I remember being there writing those songs, and I remember working with the band and recording those songs. And like, the guys I'm working with right now out of Toronto, they're second to none. They're amazing guys, and you're gonna get that same magic, that same power, that same feeling that I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't get that feeling on stage. I'd just be like, no, no, we're good. It's time to do something else. But it's funny. Somebody on Instagram, it's like tried to give me a backhanded, or I guess an insult, I guess, not really a backhanded, but he said, like, when are you gonna stop riding the INXS wave? And I went, I helped create a little bit of that water that wave is on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, probably never, dude, but thanks for asking. Yeah, so I think, the Australian thing was outstanding. The people were so great. Everybody showed up in good spirits and had a great time. There wasn't one thing that was weird or aggressive or out of place, and it was full on. And one of the shows, I didn't see one cell phone because I guess the night before I had said, it'd be fun as if like the next show I do, I don't have to look at, 2,000
Yeah.
people doing this. And I think there's three cell phones up. And what a difference that made in just the energy and the vibe where people were engaged and they weren't doing this and then doing, oh, get in the band there, like it was the way it used to be for me, so that felt great. So hopefully we'll get a bit of that. I don't mind if people take some video footage at the Mocambo, but for me, I'd rather see someone perform, maybe take 10 seconds of a song, but and then enjoy the night. But to each his own.
Is it going to be merch?
We're working on that right now. I
Okay.
may have got my order in a little too late, but hopefully,
Oh.
yes, there's an 85 to 90% chance that it's going to be there. So hopefully.
Well, my fingers are crossed on that, man. Look, there's some questions I
If not,
have
I've got
to,
something special for you I'm bringing anyway.
because I'm going to be at the show no matter what. I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
be
got
there.
something special
So
for you, man.
I cannot wait. So I have to ask this question because if I don't, people will be going, "What the hell?" So of course you know that your former members from Rockstar INXS have done
Mhm.
their amazing tours, and I did in interviews with them, and one of the things that we talked about was, is JD Fortune gonna be part of this? And I even said I'd try to get in
Oh,
contact with you, but you were touring around, so it was hard to get you.
yeah.
So what happened? I mean, were you even thinking about being part of it? And I know if they haven't done it yet, as we do this, I do
Yeah.
believe they're going to be doing a show
In
in
LA,
LA.
Los
Is there
Angeles, yeah.
any chance that you could be part
Well,
of this?
there
And if not, what happened?
Well, originally, I talked to somebody from the show, one of the cast members, and she told me that she got a call from Susie McNeil, who said, "Wow, JD's doing great with this INXS stuff. We should do something with it." And I went, "Okay, but you can't." Okay. So I didn't really, the show was not a great experience for me. I got sued for Pretty Vegas by two of those people who had nothing to do with it. And in fact, it was
Wow.
quite a tumultuous time, me being on the show. Being in INXS was a dream come true, and I wouldn't change it for anything. But the show itself was really a lot of stress for everyone. And then to make matters worse, the greatest thing I had ever accomplished as an artist at that point was sullied by two other people who decided to sue me because they are, like, again, I said that there's a sort of participation trophy mentality that it can't be over. No, I think I deserve more. It can't be over. So they had somebody convince them, a manager, well, why don't you put a lien on it against Pretty Vegas? So I'm in the studio. I just finished doing vocals. INXS's manager came to me and said, we either got to do this or we can't release a song because in the state of California, you can't release any music if they've got a lien or a claim. It's basically suing you for the rights to the song, a lien, right? There's discrepancy in who wrote the lyrics. However, there's a whole episode 16 on Rockstar in Excess, where you can clearly see that they said, go write your own song. I think he's going home for it. We have nothing to do with this. That's his song, his song, his song. JD, Block, don't want anything to do with it. In fact, the entire episode is about me writing the song by myself, co-writing it with the band's music. So how do we get to their names being on it as well? Well, after the show was done, like I said, they put a lien on it, and I said I want to talk to at least one of them. And one of them had the good graces to show up to Westlake Studios. Side note, where Michael Jackson recorded Thriller, got to record Pretty Vegas vocals in the same booth that he sang Billie Jean in, so that was a win. And I said to him, "Do you honestly believe that you have anything to do with this song?" And he turned to me, and in my face, we were outside of the building, and he turned to me and he said, "I don't think you get it. It's just show business," and did the money thing to me. It like
Oh,
like this far from my face, like right up to my face like
wow.
that. And I called him a cocksucker and I walked inside. I said, "You cocksucker." And I walked inside. Pardon my language, folks, for listening, but that's a really crappy thing to do to somebody. So when I found out that a couple of those people were going to be on the reunion tour, look, once, shame on you. Twice, shame on me. I'm not about to do anything that they're also going to steal or contrive and twist into their own thing or whatever. In fact, I don't even think the LA thing is called the Rockstar INXS reunion. I think it's just called Rockstar Reunion. Now, a very awesome, amazing gentleman named Dave Goffin gave me a phone call. He was one of the executive producers of Rockstar INXS, also shows like The Survivor and or Survivor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I told him yes at first, but then I checked my scheduling and I'm not able to do it. So I called him back. He has not returned my call. I said to him, if you can reschedule for a different date, I might. And then I found out, that it's going to be some of the old names again. So I thought maybe not. And he hasn't called me back yet. So now they're not calling it Rockstar INXS Reunion. They're just calling it Rockstar Reunion. So I'm just wondering, and I think they're charging $250 US a ticket. Um, so I wish them the best, but I've been in this business a long time. You gotta have some pretty for $250 a ticket. That better be one hell of a show. That's all I'm saying.
Tell me something. Could we do Rockstar NXS again, as a reality series and looking for the next star for another band, or the one after that, Rockstar Supernova? Could we do something like that today, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a few bands out there that are, really in need of and it might not see my idea was not just to find a singer. I thought it'd be super, super dope if like an older band, let's say like let's say Deep Purple. Okay.
Yeah.
Deep Purple is getting up there. Okay. They've been in this business 50 years and they're still putting people in, six, seven to 15,000 people a night. They still do that. That's how big of a draw they are. But it's a labor at their age, 79, 80. It's a lot. So I had an idea that the reality show would be the original band is still the judge, but they get to work and pick their counterparts to come up with the new Deep Purple endorsed by Deep Purple and guaranteed at one or there'll be a couple band members at every show with we're on the road, whoever wants to come out with us, they get up and do a little spin and everyone goes yeah, and then it gets back and they can say we have entrusted, now that's a big ballsy move, we have
Mhm.
entrusted our live legacy with these guys or girls,
Wow.
this is the show. And I don't know, it might be logistically too hard, egos. I actually brought it up to I think INXS's road manager like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And he was like, you're not going to find a lot of bands that are going to want to give up the stage, man. Like, that's why they're 85 still out there doing this, you know?
And that's why you're still doing what you're doing, man, because you
Hell
do it
yeah.
so
Just love
well.
the game. I love the game.
I'm curious though, this gentleman here,
Hmm.
what would you say to him if you could talk to him now with everything that you've gone through, everything that you've experienced, everything, the highs, the lows, the emotional, physical. What
Jeez.
would you say back to him now if you had that chance?
Don't be so angry. You don't need to be. Believe in your talent. You're not an imposter. You've earned the right to be here. Don't forget that because I often did forget that, and it started to make me feel, really badly about myself. I would also say, have fun, but not too much.
We know what you're talking about.
Right? Okay. Wink. Yeah. I would also say you should have you waited too long to try to start leading INXS. I it was 2010 when I was like, okay, I'm going to really put the effort in. I'm going to really, and by that time, I think it had been too late and we had been too tired and too exhausted. And I was just starting to get my rhythm in the band and starting because I had a little bit of what you would call tenure there, I guess,
Yeah.
if that's the word for it. But I would have started leading that band earlier through example. I mean, I was still, I was drinking and doing drugs and smoking cigarettes and, just everything that I thought, a famous rock musician should be doing when I was 14. I was definitely fulfilling it at 30. I was like, okay, we're making up for lost time now. But I would have definitely advised my that guy on that shirt to just try to understand the band a bit more and explain to them that if all of us work together, this is going to be unstoppable. Because, like most bands, not just INXS, most bands, when they get a lot of success, and I've met a lot of famous bands, there's always that underlying, for some reason, tension or jealousy or rivalry, even amongst the band members, right? I mean, look at John and Paul. Like, John would write a song and then Paul would try to outdo that, and then John would try to outdo that, and it was a healthy rivalry, but it can sort of branch out to not being controllable, where you're just walking around going, "You prick, yeah, you prick," and like everyone hates each other.
Hall and Oates. Look what
Yeah,
happened with them.
exactly.
Perfect example.
Prime example. Some of, look at the tumultuous relationship between Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, between, Liam and Noel Gallagher, like between the Black Crows. When you get, especially, and I had three brothers in my band too, so it was like, they speak their own language. Like, you think that they're upset with each other because they're calling each other every nasty name in the book you can think of, but that's just their love language. You know what I mean? That's their love language. That's a good old, I love you. Come here, man. You know?
Would you ever want to, like, even if it was just for one special show, would it be a charity or something? Would you like to get back with the guys again? Just like I said, just for, even if it was just one
Oh
show.
yeah. I'd love to go back on tour with them. I'm so
Wow.
much more seasoned now and it's such a different game for me. You'll see when you come.
Yeah.
It was pretty daunting to step into those shoes and, kind of carve my own path. Michael Hutchence, arguably, the last greatest rock star to ever live. Okay, man.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Oh,
Continue.
he was basically saying, you know, uh, he was witness when Michael and I'm trying to think of the band they're on tour, Oasis, when they were having that kind of beef,
Yeah.
where Oasis was saying, our songs are better than yours, and in excess. And Bono's interview, he said, "I'm literally backstage watching two grown men saying, 'My song is better than your song. No, my song is better. Well, what about this song that we wrote?'" And so I'm chuckling because I was in Portland, Oregon with INXS, and we had Scott Stapp from Creed opening up for us. Good old Scott. Wow. Now you talk about I can't tell you the stories on here, but one day
One
I
day.
will tell you they're pretty X-rated, and he's a pretty yeah, Scott Stapp. Anyway, we went out for some drinks. There was a bass player from the band, his band, I think, and then we went to eat, and then we got back to the hotel. Andrew Ferris was coming up in the elevator, and there was a cleaning lady or somebody coming out of their room, and Scott Stapp said to this woman, as Andrew passed her by in the hallway, he said, "You better be nice to him. He's the guy from American Idol." That's what he said.
Jeez.
And Andrew Ferris stopped in his tracks,
Ah.
turned around, walked right over to Scott Stapp, and literally got in his face. And I'm 30 feet walking up the aisle, up the hallway,
Ah.
and I hear, "I sold 42 fucking million records. How many fucking records did you sell?" I was like, holy shit. Is this where we're at? I mean, you got champagne problems, my friend.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. Before we wrap this up, man,
Yes, sir.
um, any new music coming from you that we can look at 2026 and 27?
Absolutely. And you know what? If you don't mind, because you and I have been such close and cool friends for over 20 years now, brother.
Yeah,
Um, I'd love to feature, the single with you first. Maybe we can do an exclusive where I release it and we can listen to it together. I'll send it to you first. You can review it, live with it for a couple days,
absolutely.
and the
Absolutely.
first public foyer will be through you, if that's okay.
I'd
Oh,
be honored, man. I would absolutely be honored.
thanks, man.
Absolutely be honored. Look, I'm going to let you go,
Okay,
but I'm going to say I love you.
I love you too.
I'm so glad that you're doing so well. I cannot wait to
Thanks.
see you back here, especially at the El Mocambo. I cannot wait to see this
There's a
show.
few
Like I'm
tickets
getting
left, man.
goosebumps.
There's a few tickets left, so make sure that Do you know when this is coming out?
I'm gonna put this out actually the week up, so it'll be on the Monday. You perform on Wednesday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday,
Yes,
Thursday.
sir.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir. And sorry, I just noticed I've been trying to I'm upstairs where the heat's still on, and I've been getting more red as this interview's been going. And I've been trying to be, and every time you ask a question, I'm trying to get to the thermostat like, I had to try to turn it off. But thank you, man. You make me very hot, man.
Like I said, man, love you. Can't wait till you're back in Toronto.
I love you too, Rudy. Thank you very much for this, man. I appreciate you.